Welcome, everybody, into the ESPN FC studios for the latest edition of the show. Alongside Ale Moreno, Steve Nicol, I'm Sebastian Salazar. Wonderful to have you with us. We do have a lot to get to in the show today. We will be talking La Liga a little bit later on as we kick off the real build-up to El Clásico on Sunday. But let's start with a look at the top of the Premier League after a pretty important weekend, or at least what felt like it. Arsenal right now, first place. They've opened up a 3-point gap after their 1-0 win away against Fulham on Saturday. Manchester City sits second. They beat Everton over the weekend. It's not until we get down to third where we find Liverpool, the defending champs, after they're fourth. It's not until we get down there where we see Liverpool, we get a look at their recent results. This is their first 4-match losing streak across all competitions in over a decade. Also coming off their first Premier League defeat at Anfield in over a year, 2-1 against Manchester United yesterday. Of course, we talked a lot about this on yesterday's show. Stevie, I'll definitely get more thoughts from you on in just a second, but let's welcome into the program Mario Melchiot. Mario, I want to start with you here because it's your countryman, the manager, Arne Slot, that's coming under a lot of criticism for what's going on right now with Liverpool. How much do you think the manager is to blame for the club's current struggles?
I mean, look, you as a manager make choices, right? Because you want to make sure that your team performs at their best, and he is responsible for that. So when they started off, it's been shaky a little bit. It's not like how he, predicted it, because it's always great to get new players in. But when you get new players in, you got more responsibility, because that's what the level went up. Okay, you win the league, now you get the new boys in, and you want to make sure that they kick off straight away. You have new guys also that extended their deal, like the Salahs and the Van Dijk, but it's not performing. So now they have a little struggle. Of a little struggle, they have a big struggle, because if you consistently keep on losing, and then this is one of the biggest games that sometimes, Steve can tell us more about it, but I know from my time in England, this is one of the biggest games in English football. When Liverpool meets Manchester United, it's almost like twice as hard if you lose that game, especially when it happens at home. So that is the key thing. And then, you got an expensive striker. He's not, scoring the goals that you want. Salah has gone quiet. So, Gakpo, he's scoring, but then he misses opportunities. So it becomes a difficult situation for him at the moment.
Stevie, what do you think the bigger problem is here? Player performance or the manager selection?
Look, I think at the end of the day, with the ability and the quality that all the individuals that Arne Slot has available, you have to point the finger, in my opinion, mostly at the players. Because none of them, almost none of them, are anywhere close to what they're capable of. And certainly, most of them who are still there from last year aren't close to what they produced last year. So, with the amount of quality he has, he should be able to make the odd mistake and get away with it because of the ability they have. But unfortunately, he can't rely on his players to help him out when he doesn't quite get it right. Now, this is not something Arne Slot is used to. He's, certainly last season, no question, he got every single thing spot on. But this year, he's not. But the players aren't helping him.
Is it a big head-scratcher for you? This is the defending champions. They went out and got, they spent $200+ million, and they look not just worse, but like significantly worse?
So in previewing this match, I believe it was on Friday with Stevie, we were talking about, it may have been Saturday, we were talking about the importance, or Stevie was talking about the importance of Anfield and how that would make a difference in this match. And even though there have been early struggles for Liverpool, that in this match that you are going to feel that difference of that stadium. Now, I think what Stevie was not budgeting, neither was I, nor was anybody else for that matter, and certainly Liverpool were not, neither were the fans, is that 2 minutes in you were losing the game. And so this energy and electricity that you were expecting from Anfield became sort of anxiety and moaning and groaning and nervous energy. And the only reason I bring all of that up is because that's the sense that I'm getting from the players as well. Anxiety and moaning and groaning and doubt, which was not there, to Stevie's points, last season. But why was there no doubt last season? I think there was clarity in terms of what your role was, what you were supposed to be doing on the field individually, and then as a group, I think there was a clear identity as to what they were and what they wanted to be. I cannot say that about this group in Liverpool. What I can tell you is that I watched this team play, and if you just remove the names, if you just remove the history, remove the jersey, whatever the case may be, it doesn't look like a team. It looks very disconnected. It looks very disorganized. Some of that has to do with the players. Some of that has to do with the managers. The environment in the stadium is not helping. You put all of those things together, and momentum is going in the wrong direction. And anybody that has played this game at any high level would tell you that once momentum starts going in the wrong direction, it's so very difficult to turn it back around. And this is where we are. Instead of people or players elevating others that have been struggling, it seems like those that perhaps were playing at a higher level are now coming back to the crowd of players that were not performing. Instead of elevating, everybody seems to be going back down. And I cannot continue this conversation without mentioning it doesn't help that potentially your best player or certainly your best defender and your leader 2 minutes in doesn't chase Mbeumo, doesn't stay with the runner and just passes him on by pointing the finger. And that's Virgil van Dijk. That's happening with him on that side of the field. Salah is not giving you work or productivity on the attacking half. You're not getting the same sort of control through the midfield. Look, it's evident for everybody to see that this team right now is in real trouble.
Sounds like they could use some changes. Stevie, I know you had some homework. Our producers asked you to build your best 11 right now for this Liverpool team. What are the changes you'd make?
Well, I think there's no question defensively. As much as the actual team as a whole is a bit of a shambles, there's no question the back four totally is. And one of the biggest problems is trust. They can't trust each other. And Kerkez, for me, is affecting the rest of them way too much. And I say that both from a defensive point of view and from a position of possession as well. He's not contributing either side. So I absolutely 100% would pull Bradley over to left back because I don't think Andy Robertson right now is ready to start. I would put Bradley over there and I would tell Bradley that your first job and foremost job is to A, defend and back up Gakpo on the left-hand side. I don't need you running past Gakpo. I don't need you making runs in the middle of the park. I need you to be solid. And I would bring Frimpong in because Frimpong will give everybody a lift. The energy that he brings when he steps on the field, and he showed us it when he came on against United. He has an energy that's infectious because right now Liverpool need a little spark to get everybody going. And I think Frimpong would do that. Yes, he's not the greatest defender, but he will give you everything. And that energy will absolutely count. I think Salah really is the big question. There's no doubt Ekitike should have started against United. I would have him starting. Gakpo has to start. And Salah right now just has about enough money in the bank that he deserves a couple of games. But if he produces what he's given Liverpool from the first game of the season till now, if he continues to do that, he has to sit.
Ekitike, I will play him. Why would I play him? Because clearly before Saka came, he was doing really well. This was a kid that came new to a club and started to perform from the get-go, scoring goals and delivering for Liverpool. Now he's got to come on, start him. And then it comes to Salah comes the question, you understand, how long are you going to wait? You know, you got to have the conversation with him, tell him straight up. You say, look, at the moment the team is not in a comfortable situation. So we maybe have to do a little bit more work than we normally do. And that comes to, we have to make it tighter because Liverpool was used to spreading the game wide open. You understand, the guys in the middle of the park, it was easy for them. It doesn't happen that anymore. And one of the key things, the left back, okay, the question comes there on the left-hand side. Kerkez, he's very good in going forward, but the problem is that people take him on. And people don't, he has not earned the respect of opponents that play against him. They will go at him. And he needs to win that battle first. And that's why I understand what Stevie said. He put Bradley there because you don't want to be a fullback and people just feel like they have free entry going at you, dribbling at you, taking you on. And clearly, you know what is the key thing? When you see a defender being taken on and someone dribbles past you on the outside, that's trouble. And that's why I think his confidence is a little bit down.
Mario, did you notice in the game yesterday there seemed to be between Van Dijk and Kerkez like a lot of back and forth talking, right? Specifically from Van Dijk. We talked about it on the show yesterday. Yeah. I think you specifically said, Stevie, you didn't like it. Mario, what do you think of that dynamic and, you know, beyond that, kind of what Kerkez can do to be the $50 million guy that they thought they brought in?
The key thing is for making it more comfortable for Van Dijk. The question becomes now, look, when Van Dijk's got to do a lot of more things. Look, you're the leader of the team. So I expect you, of course, to do more work for the new guys when they come in. But there is a duration of it, right? You have, you know, you got to also feel as a leader that the guy next to you is getting better. But if I got to keep pointing you certain points, I started also playing less effective myself, because now I got to worry about not only myself, I also got to worry about you, because you're not giving me what I need. So I think that is the question where one of the key things is, one thing I don't like, that is, it doesn't matter who you are, I don't like my captain to go out in the blue. He knows that there is so many. Don't waste too much time to put it in the open. Do it in the dressing room, because he's gonna. The way he went at him, you understand, when he tried to flick the ball and it kind of hit him in his face or his hand or whatever happened, and he then had to go at him and say like, "Oh, you know, you have to talk." He said to him, "Speak, speak." I understand you have to speak, but when Van Dijk, you understand. Also after the game, I saw him talking. The moment when Van Dijk started to explain too many details. You know there's something wrong with him, because he does it in Holland too. When he goes into the details, he gives too much away. I know that he's then worried about other things than only what happened in the game.
Yeah. Can I just
go ahead?
Touch on that specific circumstance? And we're talking about Van Dijk being the leader of Liverpool. And this team right now, if there was ever a time that it needed leadership, this is it, right? This is the moment. Struggling, you need a leader. And your leader is struggling as well. And in that specific circumstance, he misclears the ball, doesn't make the contact that he's making. Kerkez is trying to cover the back post. He gets hit in the face because of the deflection, the poor clearance by Virgil van Dijk. Hits him straight in the nose, and somehow, and I know Kerkez hasn't been good, but somehow that's his fault. And what's worrisome and what's concerning to me, and really disappointing, to be honest with you, that a player Virgil van Dijk stature would do this, is that he knows full well that this stadium is looking at Kerkez like Stevie looks at Kerkez, like, I don't know. And then you turn to the guy that is most vulnerable and said, you got to speak, you got to talk, it's your fault. It's my fault that you hit me in the face with the ball because you miscleared it? Now, I may have all sorts of wrong things that I've done for this team if I'm Kerkez, but this is not it. This is not the moment, and this is not the way you go about showing up a player, especially right now when what you need is everybody pulling in the same direction, not everybody saying, it's not my fault, it's him, it's the guy that got hit in the face with the ball.
You know, I absolutely abhor that as well when a player, particularly a guy with the stature of Virgil van Dijk,
that's got to hit Kerkez hard,
yes.
Right?
Yeah. I think the biggest problem I have, and one of the biggest reasons that I think Kerkez shouldn't start, is not just because of what it's doing to the back line and to particularly Virgil van Dijk. The rest of the team don't trust Kerkez.
The fans don't. I mean, we noticed that in the match yesterday. As soon as he would get the ball, you'd hear Anfield react.
Well, you would, and then Kerkez reacts to it by panicking. And then he goes scared. And then he doesn't want to make a mistake, which is why he keeps turning back and playing an easy ball backwards. But it's not just Virgil van Dijk. Everybody in that team doesn't want to give him the ball. That is a horrible position for Kerkez, but it's a position that Arne Slot has to understand is way, way worse for the team than just the fact that Kerkez is not having a particularly good time.
Right.
The fact that Kerkez is affecting the whole team, again, is one of the reasons why you have to get him out, get somebody solid in that everybody trusts, they know what they're going to get, and then they're just playing the ball, they're not thinking about it. Right now, everybody looks up, sees Kerkez, and looks somewhere else first. And by that time, it means teams like United, or whoever it is, can get into a defensive posture quickly.
Yeah.
Mario, straight up, what would you do here? I mean, you've been in this position. Would you bench Kirkes or would you let him try to play through it?
I have to take him out. Because if not, you understand, you also have to think about the mental strength and the confidence of the player. Because you don't want to break him all the way. And you don't want to get him into a position where you might need him later on. So what I would do, you understand, make him build again. Because all the new players, they got a chance. And that's what you expect. When you pay that much money for me, I expect you to start me straight away. But if I don't perform to the certain standard, you got to rebuild them. So I will take him out because it's not affecting the team and play maybe with a more defensive mind because this team at the moment need that anyway. So play more defensive mind, lock everything up and keep them more compact and stop with making it so wide open because if not, people are going to come at you. And we're talking about Liverpool now. Let's not make it like it's already a drama and we're in a big, no, but he just needs to tweak it, and he needs to tweak it now. And if he waits too long, it becomes a problem. And he has the skills to do that, Slot, so it's not like I'm talking about someone that I don't expect. He can fix it, but I don't want him to wait too long.
Kirkes is an easy target, and I think that's an easy decision. The tough decision is Mohamed Salah. And I must say, Stevie, in that play, which it was about the 19th or 20th minute, where he actually came to the inside, received the ball on the turn, and then found Cody Gakpo. Cody Gakpo cuts to the inside and hits the post. I'm thinking, oh,
He's back.
that's encouraging.
Yep.
Because he's no longer just parked on the right-hand side, he actually came in a central position, which is the one dot that's on the central position in this particular graphic. And then he went back to the right-hand side and just parked himself over there and became silent. So silent, so passive in his game, so lacking any sort of aggression in his game. And aggression is not, hey, I'm going to go kick somebody. Aggression in terms of I'm going to receive the ball and do something that makes a difference for my team, a game-changing moment. And I suppose the moment that we all have in our minds from the game is when the ball drops to him at the back post. It is on his left foot, and he just takes a wild swing at it and goes absolutely, completely, horribly wrong for Liverpool. And then you're at that point, you go, whatever optimism I had from the 20th minute in him finding a central position and actually finding a through ball, all of that has disappeared because this that I saw in the miss at the back post is what we're seeing a lot of. And this lack of aggression and this passive nature to his game in which he is on the fringes of the game rather than being a central figure of the game for Liverpool. To the point to where Arne Slot said, I had enough, we're losing, and I have to take you off. That is a message that needs to get to Mohamed Salah. He needs to now internalize the information. While I agree that we're pushing, it's getting to that moment, but maybe we're not quite there just yet, Stevie. No. We're closer than ever. And he needs to find it within himself that to see more of the moments that we saw in the 20th minute rather than the rest of the match.
I think for the first time ever during this game, the previous, 9-10 seasons, when Salah got it, you did that. I think for the first time ever against United, whenever he got it, I was thinking, what's going to happen now? I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing how you can go from the top of the tree and slide all the way down it so quickly. It's incredible. It's a lesson to us all.
Can we go big picture here?
Yeah,
Sure.
Go ahead, Mario, quickly.
You know why Stevie also said that? Because Stevie, when he gets on the ball, you don't expect him to dribble because he's not that guy anymore that's going to dribble. Back in the days, he was running with the ball, taking people on. And then, if he's not close to the goal, we don't expect him to do that 30 yards sprint and doing something incredible. We expect Salah around the box. Last season, danger. Now, it looks like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I hope because it just shut down too quickly in too quick of a period because last season and now it's only a short break. It was 2 months difference or 1 month different. It cannot be dropping like that so fast.
Right, I wanted to go big picture because something you said at the very beginning of the show yesterday, I think, caught all of our ears. You said Liverpool has no chance to win the title. Now, when we got to extra time, you had cooled off a little bit. You had changed your tune. I think maybe you'd realize how early in the campaign it was. But as we look at the Premier League title odds, there you see Liverpool right now third favorites according to the bookmakers. Why that change of heart over that hour? And in your cooling off, what did you discover there?
Well, because at the time, I was frustrated, disappointed. You know, sometimes it's hard to look at the big picture. You know, when you see performances like that, it's hard to. You try to figure how they get out it, and then you start thinking about, well, the 4 points behind now. There's no reason to think they're going to get out it because they've done nothing since the start of the season that's actually, in terms of the big picture, been any different than what we got against United. It just so happened that that individual quality that we know they've got had bailed them out on so many occasions. So that's why I dived in and said that. Now, let's look at PSG this time last year. They couldn't win a game, particularly in the Champions League, to save their lives. They had quality. They just didn't quite understand everybody's role yet. They didn't understand the connections weren't there, and all of a sudden, look at them now. So it kind of tells you, cool your jets. When you have that type of ability, it can change as quickly as it went the wrong way. And so, I don't disagree with the bookies. I think right now, Liverpool have so many things to improve on that the longer they go not winning games, they might get too far behind. So they have to change it very quickly. Otherwise, this Arsenal side in particular look really strong and they give nothing away.
Yeah, Mario, you look at the odds there, and sometimes we disagree with the bookmakers, but it's really hard, especially with how Arsenal has played so far this season and maybe how the other teams that we thought might contend are playing, to not see Arsenal right now as an overwhelming favorite, no?
Yes, look, I understand you asking me that question, but you know, I like the city of London normally was blue, but I have to say to you, it looks like it's going red because we cannot lie about it. I cannot lie about it, you understand? Of course, my prediction was different too, but Arsenal is the team, not only they are playing good, but they should also be up there where they are right now after the key investments they made. And they're winning games. Look, even if they don't win it by big margin, it is important. They won 1-0 against Fulham. It was a team that defended the whole game almost against them, and making sure it was difficult for them to break them down. They win the 1-0. So yeah, they're leading the charge, and it's also normal that they are there.
Mario, I don't want to leave out Manchester City. What do you think about City? Stevie says they're too Erling Haaland dependent.
Yes, because, like Haaland, what is he, 11? He did it, 3 seasons in a row? He's already on 11 goals. Look, 23 goals you scored you understand, for the beginning of the season, when you call the national team included with it. Great player, we cannot doubt about that. But if you have a team that only focus on Haaland distributing the goals, because the rest of them are all on one. I think a Foden, you understand, they're all on one goal. And that is not good enough because Haaland has to do too much work. You don't want him to get injured and you don't want him to get out. So you need someone that's going to chip in if you want to keep on pushing to where they are right now.
Ale, you think City will be there at the end?
No. It's not just the Haaland dependency, which is a real thing. And I'm a huge fan of Erling Haaland, and I'm going to assume, and it's a fair assumption to make, that he's going to sustain this level of productivity, and they're going to need him to do that. But it's not so much that Erling Haaland is going to score all the goals for Manchester City that troubles me, is that it's still a team that is so very vulnerable. They're still losing the ball in bad areas. They're still searching for answers as to what they do defensively. They don't press the ball nearly as well as they once did. They don't control the pace of the game as they once did. And while Erling Haaland can score goals and get them out of trouble, I don't think in the long term that is sustainable in terms of their ability to stay with Arsenal. I think the key here is Liverpool. It's the one team that can challenge Arsenal. There's no doubt in my mind that Arsenal right now are the best team in the Premier League. Liverpool is the one that has the potential to go and challenge that. The potential. Whether that is potential realized, well, that remains to be seen.
You going to say something?
No, I'm just agreeing.
Yeah.
The potential's incredible, unfortunately. Potential and actual are two different things.
There you go. They don't play the games on paper.
They do not.
All right, well, Arsenal, according to the odds makers and our panel here, the clear favorites to win the Premier League, at least early on in the season. I'm sure they'll be talking about that on the next edition of the Gab and Jules show. Jules, always super well dressed. Gab, not so much. And I believe the latest edition dropped today, so you can get it wherever you download your podcasts.